What's going on, everyone? Just checking in here. Back again. Hopefully, we get this picture tightened up a little bit. Hopefully, we're adjusting this audio a little bit so there's not so much of a delay. Hopefully, you're coming through clear. Hopefully, I slapped a lot on this FX30, so hopefully, it's a little more colorful. Today, this is what we're going to be talking about. We are going to be getting into some more jiu-jitsu stuff, some things, some kind of what is jiu-jitsu training like? Like how do you actually have one of these moments right here? So look at this. Check this out. How do you have this moment right here? Let's see.
Combat training. Jiu-Jitsu. I'm going to learn Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm going to learn jiu-jitsu.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Mikey, I think he likes it.
Yeah. How do you go ahead and have one of those moments right there where you're just like, holy shit, as soon as possible? I always thought that was so funny, like being able to, the idea of like being able to learn jiu-jitsu that way. I just thought that was hilarious. So basically, my whole thing that I want to talk to you today about is kind of like I want to try to bring you to that moment yourself. I want to try to give you one of those moments as early on as possible because I'm hoping that if you understand the general understanding of jiu-jitsu and don't get caught up in the little tiny details of it just yet, and you understand the large scope of really what you're trying to do and how you're going about doing that, I am confident that you can get better as fast as possible. I think this is the first step in just kind of understanding the flow of jiu-jitsu. And you'll be just like Neo. You will be the chosen one, okay? So I've thought about this for a little while. It's kind of John Danaher inspired as well. He put it plainly one day, and it just rang true. And it's very much like, let me see if I can find it over here. Let's see. It's very much kind of like this decoding the game thing that's going to come up here in a second on this screen. It's an instructional thing that I've already made that's kind of around this formula. And I was just thinking, I'm doing a beginner's class as well. So for the beginner's class, I've been kind of teaching along this format of how to actually explain jiu-jitsu. Okay, this is the beginner's jiu-jitsu decoding the game. It's a mini instructional. It's free. Check it out. It's on the YouTube channel. So check that out. It's just a little something, and it's gonna kind of go deeper into the stuff that we're talking about today. Okay, so I'm gonna pop over to this. I made this flow chart. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you can see it here. Okay, I made this flow chart on Adobe Illustrator. I just tried to put it together. You want to know something? AI wouldn't make this for me. This is top secret knowledge. AI did not want to go into making this with me. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of explain the general theory of how jiu-jitsu should work. Okay, in the red we have top players, and in the blue we have the bottom player. Okay, in jiu-jitsu there's always this kind of unspoken agreement, this conforming of someone must be a top player and someone must be a bottom player. This is kind of a norm. You can disrupt this norm by standing. Just going to throw that out there. Not going to get too much into the weeds on that necessarily right now, but always keep that in the back of your mind. And this is a rough flow of how it works. Obviously, jiu-jitsu is quite complex. I'm just kind of simulating this. There are some exceptions. We'll get into that eventually, but I just want you to understand top player, bottom player. Once you have this understood, and this standing area here, once you have this understood, we can begin talking. So, top player, right? We're trying to get to the ground via takedowns. Takedowns to get to the ground. Once we're on the ground, we're trying to pass the guard. That can look like many different things. Tons of different passes. Just as takedowns, tons of different ways to take someone down. Those are the moves, the movements and the moves. That's what you explore in each one of these white boxes. All the different guard passes, all the different systems, yada yada yada. But the place and where it fits in the whole entire universe of jiu-jitsu is right here in this guard passing, pass guard spot, getting past their legs. Once you're past their legs, you want to pin them down. You're gonna need to pin them down. Okay, positionally pinning them down. So they can't move and go anywhere. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean laying on them? Maybe. Does it also mean putting wedges? There's the W word already that you'll hear in jiu-jitsu. What does that even mean? Wedges. All around them. All wedges are really, it's just like a block of some sort, some type of, I like to think of, I used to go camping a lot when I was a child in motorhomes and RVs and campers and stuff. And whenever you park for a camper, whether it be to like set up shop, you have to level the RV with different jacks and stuff. You want it level, but then you also have to wedge underneath the tires so the RV does not roll. It's not just a parking brake. You don't just put it in park. What you do is you literally get out and put these triangle blocks underneath the tires of. Let me see this. Check this out. RV tire. I have the power of the internet. Why don't I just show you? Look at these things. Okay, these things right here. Images. So you put this under your tire so that the car can't roll away. The RV can't roll away. You put one of those under there. Okay, so that's how I think about wedges in jiu-jitsu. Obviously, the tire in this scenario is a person, and the yellow wedge thing right there is actually a part of your body. Okay? So anyways, so that's how you pin them down. Pressure, but also wedges. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to start to isolate their limbs. Once they can't go anywhere, you have to get the sheep alone. The sheep alone. What do we say here? Lonely sheep. Let's see what comes up. Whoa. Get the sheep alone. Look at this sheep. That's a lonely sheep right there. And really all this is a metaphor for your body parts being completely all by itself and defenseless. A lonely sheep is defenseless. Okay? I'm done Googling stuff. I'm going to just keep sticking with this. The last one, submit that lonely sheep. Eat it up. Now, the sheep or the limb in this case, I should have put lamb. The sheep or the limb in this case would be like a arm or a neck or a leg. But we're going to kind of stay out of there for right now. All right? So we take them down using a takedown from standing, going to be the top player. We pass that guard, assuming that we landed in front of their guard. We might be able to just have landed past their guard from the get-go. If that's the case, that's where we start from. Then we pin them down using wedges and pressure. Then we isolate limbs by using inside position, getting inside of them and creeping them away, creeping their body parts away, making the lonely sheep all by itself. And then once that piece is vulnerable and all alone, we then go ahead and submit it. Okay? And really what that is you just basically manipulate the skeleton or the cardiovascular system to basically bend the other way in regards to the skeleton, or move in a different direction that's not designed to move, or in regards to the cardiovascular system, you're cutting off blood flow ideally to the brain, therefore stopping the brain from working. It doesn't have any more oxygen and it will go into sleep mode, hibernation mode, and become unconscious. All right? So that's really what you're trying to do. Let's take a dive into the bottom player. Once we understand this top player, let's take a dive into the bottom player. The bottom player, this series is being done to this person. So we're going to start down here for this sake, okay? If someone has isolated my arms or my neck and they're squeezing my arm and my neck or something, trying to submit me, my first priority is to escape that submission. Okay, so that means reverse engineering what this person has set up. The next thing is I am supposed to escape the position. So let's just say, for example, someone's got me in a, for this example specific, let's say Ezekiel choke from mount. They've mounted me, they've submitted, or they're isolated my head, and they're Ezekiel choking me with their gi or no gi Ezekiel chokes, with different punch chokes. I want to escape the Ezekiel Then I want to escape from being mounted, okay? I might bridge and use my different body movements to disrupt their pin. So escaping the position is kind of like defeating their pin over here. These two are similar. These two are kind of like counterparts to each other. And these two, this one's kind of like counterparts with both of these. If I'm escaping an armbar, I'm unisolating my limb. I'm getting my limb back to safe spot. If I'm escaping a rear naked choke, I am fighting out of this submission. So I would say this one's kind of involves those two, this little grouping, and then these two are very directly correlated. Once I escape a position, this is where a little bit of choice comes into play and a little bit of kind of opportunity in this flowchart comes into play. Depending on my personality and my type, my body type, and which position I'm escaping from, I might be able to begin wrestling from a lower bottom position using some type of grappling and clinching and kind of climbing efforts to get higher than my opponent, wrestle up and get on top of them. Okay? Now, this wrestling up, I just barely made this flowchart. This wrestling up can go to standing, where we're both standing. This wrestling can get all the way over to an opportunity where I'm becoming the guard passer and I'm on top now. Or this wrestling up can make it all the way over to I've already passed their guard, I'm beside them, and now I need to pin them down. So this flow chart for this example, once I'm choosing this wrestling up method, I can start going all the way to my feet with them, or I can go above them and pass their guard, or I can go above them and already be past their guard due to the nature of my wrestle up. And then from there, I would be the top player and I would pursue this procedure, this order of events over here. My second option, number 2, that I can go from when I'm escaping positions, I can escape, but instead of wrestling up, I can bring my legs in and get my legs between me and my opponent, me and my partner. My legs can be between us. If I choose this option here, I have a few more jiu-jitsu style opportunities, okay? I'm able to submit them with my guard using my legs, manipulating them with my legs, using my legs, okay? I'm also able to sweep them with my legs, with my guard. Now, what does this mean? This just means I'm going to use my legs and my guard to flip our roles, our positioning, our bottom player and our top player, to switch them. It's the Uno reverse card. Using our guard, using our legs, okay? So I'm going to become the top player. And once again, similar to the wrestling choice, when I become the top player, I might land in their guard, and I might be required to pass their guard. Or I might land already past their guard, and I might have to just worry about holding them down and pinning them down. Both can be true due to the nature of the sweep and to the nature of how your opponent's reacting and what kind of guard you're using to sweep them. Maybe a butterfly guard will lend you being beside them rather than a half guard would lend more towards you being having to pass their guard when things settle down. Once again, those are more nuanced elements of this, but this general overall theme is kind of something that will give you that neo moment where you're like, oh, I understand jiu-jitsu. Now, I don't think you'll ever truly understand jiu-jitsu. I think you'll understand more and more of jiu-jitsu, and you'll see commonalities, and you'll see like maybe this whole thing kind of actually is the same thing. That's kind of where I'm getting to be now. Like all these moves are all actually the exact same thing. But it seems to be the more you learn about jiu-jitsu, the more you think about jiu-jitsu, the more you train jiu-jitsu, it's actually you feel like it's so massive. It's its own thing. And there's really no end to knowing it. There's always more innovation. There's always more thoughts. There's always more ideas, positions, new, different trends even will come and go. All right. But this general thing is a good way to kind of get it started. This is a good little starter pack for you, Remember, each one of these has several different categories within it. Several. And maybe in the future, we'll start covering some of these differences and some of these moves and some of these movements and all these different things. But this is the general understanding and flow of jiu-jitsu right now. So I hope that this makes sense to you. I hope that you understand this. If you have any questions or anything, oh yeah, listen, we talked about there might be some type of a loophole or some type of an outlier here. You want to typically travel through this chain of events when you're the top player. However, there is one group of moves and movements that disobey this entire thing. And, well, not the entire thing. I guess it pretty much goes from standing to takedown when you're trying to pass the guard, basically to isolating limbs, and that is leg locks. That is skipping this hold guard passing section, skipping this whole pinning down section, and it goes right to wrestling and isolating a limb, specifically to submit a leg. Okay? But a lot of these things can get into that. You know, wrestling up, you can kind of start going to isolate limbs. You can start isolating limbs off of your wrestle ups. You can chain your wrestle ups into different leg locks, or some of your sweeps can chain into isolations, aka submissions. So things like this. So things can kind of jump around as you kind of get more involved. But I think in terms of a starting place for you trying to figure out jiu-jitsu, if you just kind of look at that and kind of try to respect the different chronological turn of events of how this thing works, I think you'll find that you'll have the most success with your training. And that's what you can do immediately. In my notes, I said, what can you do immediately to change your jiu-jitsu game? You can definitely do this immediately. You can look at this flow chart. You can screenshot it. I might even be able to upload it somewhere so you can like just download it, have it on your phone. If you want, set it at your background for a little bit. Understand it, see it, think about it. Debate with me. Like I'm not partial to this. Like, this is just some things that I've kind of noticed, some large scale patterns. Like, you can think about it. It's like, oh, well, I can maybe do this. Does this qualify here? Does this go here? It doesn't matter. Thinking about it is huge. That's that exercise of just thinking about it and thinking critically about it is huge in itself. So I would definitely start doing that kind of stuff to your game. And that's how you can apply it immediately. And then, you know, it'll save you some time being stuck in close guard, trying to Americana someone. Like, dude, you're in my guard, bro. I'm going to choke you with your cross collar, or I'm going to take your back with an overback grip and get behind you. You should not be worried about trying to shoulder lock me when you're between my legs. You should not be worried about that. You should really develop a system of getting out of there. And this is where you hear these words like position before submission. If you try to just start submitting the upper body, so if you're just here, you're trying to pass the guard, you should be passing the guard, but let's just say you just start automatically trying to, what's the word for this? Submit someone with the shoulder lock. Dude, you're not going to be able to hold me down. I'm going to wiggle out. I'm going to defend it. I'm going to do all this stuff. It must, for the most part, follow this chain of events. And think about that. If you start immediately applying that to your game and you start getting that exactly right, think about how much more success you'll have. You're spending maybe like, let's say you roll like 10 minutes tonight. Let's just for an example. Say you roll 10 minutes for a night and you spend 7 of those 10 minutes stuck in someone's guard trying to submit them. Like, are you getting better at jiu-jitsu? No, you just wasted 7 minutes. I mean, how many times are you going to waste it to be like, oh, maybe this just isn't the right way to do it? And that's kind of what this flowchart's for. It's to be like, yo, maybe this isn't the right way to do it. What should I be doing when I'm stuck in their guard? Okay, I'm the top player. I'm stuck in their guard. I need to pass their guard. Okay, sounds good. So you figure out a way just to get out of the legs. Don't even bother trying to submit them. This is kind of where I'm at. All right. Once again, I would definitely advise you to go over here, pop in here, check out this instructional. Look at the timing on that. Check out that instructional. All right. I go over this in much more detail in the instructional. Now, I was a blue belt, I think, when I filmed that instructional. Once again, it's just higher not higher level, but higher perspective of like truly what you're going to be doing. You're not going to be learning moves in that instructional. You're just going to be learning how jiu-jitsu kind of works. Plus, I go a little bit more into the standing position in the idea that hip height over a partner. Like this reminds me of this game. You ever play this game where like it's like a kid game? It's like you put your hand down and then someone puts their hand on your hand and then they take their other hand, they put it on the other hand, then they put it on the other hand, and you build height. Each time you build height, you're becoming more of a dominant on top player. That's kind of how I think of standing position as well in some of these wrestle up scenarios. So once again, by all means, go check that out. And I hope you got something out of this today, because this can save you a lot of grinding and not understanding like what's going on. You might see very diminishing returns with your jiu-jitsu. You're trying to learn these moves. We go to class, we learn these moves. But where do they fit into the general universe? Why do they fit there? Why do I need to be past their guard to submit them for the most part? Hopefully this will help you. So very good. Thank you very much. And, have some fun out there. Go train.